Like and subscribe right now, or this spider will crawl on your face when you're sleeping.
These celebrities fake their own death. When a celebrity dies, the world's eyes turn to them and their work. While the vast majority of celebrity deaths are mourned without controversy, there are a few celebrities over the years whose deaths have been questioned. Whether they wanted to escape the limelight or flee from a life of crime, nobody really knows. Wouldn't it be easy to just start completely new where nobody knows you? It turns out that faking your death might not be as easy as Hollywood makes it seem. Even though some may be genuine, other famous people have been caught in their lies. Today's video will cover some cautionary tales of famous people who faked their own death and got caught, as well as other celebrities whose fans strongly believe are still alive. Number 10. Elvis Presley. Even though Elvis Presley died on August 17, 1977, because of a medication overdose that led to a heart attack, many of his devout fans don't believe that he's really dead. The singer allegedly staged his death to retire from annoying show business and to fully get into spirituality. There are a few reasons for this. These include confidential medical investigations of his cause of death, the absence of actual photos of the singer's body. Even though there were some pictures taken of the body in its casket, they didn't look at all like the king of rock and roll. Because of this, some fans believe that it wasn't his body in the casket, but a wax dummy. Some say that Presley isn't actually dead because his middle name is misspelled on his gravestone. The headstone theory suggests Elvis's middle name, Aaron, is spelled this way on his headstone, despite him wanting to change it to Aaron with a single A to honor his stillborn brother. Right after the death of the king of rock and roll, Jimmy, or Ryan Ellis, appeared in performances. He resembled the idol not only in body type, but also in identical voice timbre. This singer always appeared wearing a mask both on the stage and in public, which is why many people thought that it was Elvis himself. That's not all. Others believe he is still alive because an insurance policy he took out with Lloyd's was never cashed. Then there are all of the alleged sightings of him. The pool house theory claims a picture showing Elvis sitting behind his pool house door was taken 4 months following his death. Over the years, several clues that he is alive have been touted by believers, like a 2005 interview in which Elvis's wife, Priscilla Presley, referred to something Elvis said the other day as definitive proof that he's alive and well. If Elvis had faked his own death, which seems unlikely, fans believed he moved to South America. Elvis would be 85 years old if he were alive today. Considering his medical issues at 42, experts insist he wouldn't be alive now, even if he had slipped away to live a quiet life. Before we move on, I've got a little challenge for you that'll take 5 seconds to complete. So here's the deal. You just leave a like on this video, smash that subscribe button, and hit the notification bell, and you will get 25 years of amazing luck. Try it, it really works. Number 9. Jim Morrison. Jim Morrison, the famed member of The Doors, died in 1971 at just 27 years old. Morrison's official cause of death is often debated because no autopsy was ever performed. According to Today, Morrison officially died of heart failure. What brought that heart failure on, however, has been a topic of debate. His girlfriend at the time, Pamela Courson, claimed the pair went to a movie, and then Morrison took a bath in the middle of the night after feeling sick. His body was discovered in the bathtub hours later. Several sources have come forward to suggest Morrison overdosed in a nightclub and was taken back to his apartment to avoid a scandal. Some people don't think he died in the first place. Ray Manzarek, the keyboardist for The Doors, was outspoken in his belief that Morrison faked his own death. Manzarek, in his book on the subject, insisted he never saw Morrison's body and hinted repeatedly that Morrison was alive and well. Manzarek theorized that Morrison couldn't handle the pressures of being in the spotlight, so he slipped into obscurity to work on his poetry. Manzarek unfortunately passed away in 2013. Number 8. Princess Diana. Princess Diana's death in 1997 took the world by surprise. Because of this, there are a number of conspiracy theories about her death. Many people think that Princess Diana really got into an accident that night, but she didn't die. Her injuries were not fatal and her life was saved. Some believe that a member of the British military murdered her. Others believe that she was pregnant when she died with Dodi Fayed's child, and the two were about to get engaged. One conclusion regarding this theory was that the royal family ordered Diana's death because they didn't want her to marry a non-Christian. Instead of Diana, another woman was buried, and the surviving princess left for the USA, where she leads a simple life, communicating with her sons from time to time. However, that's not the only conspiracy theory about her death. The version about the surviving princess is supported by ambiguous facts. For example, she was buried in a closed coffin. Also, there are no other photos of Diana's body and no photos of her before her death, apart from a photo of a blonde woman and a car damaged in the accident. Several years ago, the Grassy Knoll Institute posted a picture of Diana in a wheelchair and stated that she had survived the car accident. They suggested that she faked her own death to end her relationship with Prince Charles and the entire royal family. There are some who think that she even attended Prince William and Kate Middleton's wedding ceremony. This all sounds a bit far-fetched. Number 7. TUPAC Shakur. In September 1996, TUPAC Shakur attended a boxing match in Las Vegas. He piled into a vehicle with Suge Knight after the match, and from there, things get a little hazy. What's known is that TUPAC, seated in the passenger side of a BMW, was reportedly shot 4 times in a drive-by shooting and died in hospital 6 days later. Despite it being over 20 years ago, there are people out there who strongly believe that he is still alive. One of the reasons for this would be the nature of his murder. The people who shot him have never been found, and even Suge Knight, who was in the car with him that fateful night, has said that he thinks his friend is probably still alive. Fans have had a hard time believing that TUPAC is actually gone, mostly because many believe he never died in the first place. Some fans have suggested that TUPAC left clues in his own music, that he faked his own death. Over the years, several theories about where TUPAC could be if he were alive have emerged. In 2016, a YouTube video titled "TUPAC is Alive, New Proof 2016" claimed it has the most convincing evidence the fallen rapper is still with us. The subtitles in the video state the photo is a selfie taken in 2015 on a phone made in 2011, 11 years after his death. Filmmaker Rick Ross recently created a documentary claiming that TUPAC actually escaped from the hospital and went to New Mexico under an assumed identity. Others say TUPAC is now living in Cuba, and a private investigator said he now resides in Belize. Citing a photo as evidence, experts say it's photoshopped. Another theory claims that TUPAC must have faked his death if he changed his stage name from TUPAC to Machiavelli. Machiavelli, an Italian Renaissance philosopher and politician, reportedly advocated faking one's own death to gain an advantage over enemies. Also suspicious is the fact that he's continued to release music after his death. 8 of his records have been released, which is a lot more than he ever released when he was alive. Number 6. Andy Kaufman. Andy Kaufman had a reputation for being completely unpredictable and for perpetrating numerous hoaxes throughout his career. Long before he died from lung cancer, he had allegedly talked about faking his own death. He reportedly claimed that if he were to pull the stunt, he would appear 20 years later. In January 1984, he announced that he had lung cancer. However, no one believed him because he was known for being a prankster. When he died 4 months later, some people were still skeptical. When he didn't resurface 20 years after his death, it was clear that he really did die back in 1984. But in 2013, bizarre rumors began to surface that the funny man had actually faked his own death and was living in Albuquerque, New Mexico. One of Kaufman's friends, Bob Zamuda, doesn't believe that he's really dead and that he will be making a comeback soon. However, the comedian's longtime manager, George Shapiro, begs to differ. Andy's very much alive in our hearts, but I don't think his body is around, he told CNN. He died, I was in the hospital. Number 5. Paul Walker. This is one of the less talked about ones, but deniers are out there. Immediately following Walker's death, people took to social media to claim that neither he nor his friend Roger Rodas was ever in the crash. Allegedly, the before and after photos of the car license plates don't match. Also, his fans were surprised by the fact that the police did not cordon off the place of the accident, allowing everyone to take photos. Nevertheless, there is no dead body in any of them. According to one version, even the colors of the cars are different. People made videos claiming that Walker, in collaboration with Universal Studios and his family, scammed the public, citing the family's unconvincing emotions in interviews. They say he's probably living on a private island somewhere. Before we jump into our top 3, how about we spice things up with a celebrity that got the biggest shock of his life? Number 4, Timothy Dexter. Though you probably haven't heard of Timothy Dexter yourself, you most definitely would have if you were a part of Massachusetts society in the early 1800s. Though he dropped out of school at the age of 8, he got lucky financially and found himself as one of the richest men in Boston. That being said, money can't buy culture, and high society never accepted him. Dexter sought only the limelight, and he went so far as to begin calling himself a lord. After facing years of disapproval, he decided it was time to see how everyone really felt about him. He faked his own death and organized a grand funeral in his honor. Dexter watched the display from a lavish tomb in his home and saw those he was supposedly closest to weren't as mournful as he expected. He returned to join his own funeral, and he never reached the high social status he longed for. Number 3, David Bowie. The Starman singer died of cancer in 2016, aged 69. But hardcore fans don't believe he's reached his resting place. But the music video for Bowie's song, Lazarus, was released just before his death, which tells fans that the star still lives, just like the biblical figure was resurrected by Jesus 4 days after he died. People also believe that because Bowie was an artist, he killed his stage name to live his last years as a regular civilian elsewhere. Before his death, David left shares in a company called Possum Inc. with his friend and personal assistant. But it is not yet known what the company does, apart from giving fans a reason to believe that Bowie is living carefree somewhere. And with that, it's now time for today's best pick. Today's photo was sent to us by a subscriber, so if you come across a photo online and want to know more details about it, just send it over to us. We might even feature it in our future video. Number 2, Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson passed away on June 25, 2009 from cardiac arrest at the age of 52, after his physician gave him a lethal dose of propofol. The death was allegedly staged by Michael to get out of debt and live the rest of his life in peace and tranquility. In 1993 and 2003, Jackson was accused of child molestation. In both cases, his guilt wasn't proved. Every year, new proof of his being alive appears. In this particular image, it was part of a video that claims to show images of Jackson taken in a crowd during 2016 and posted to YouTube. A blurb for the video, uploaded by channel Full Anxiety Dude, states, "Here is some evidence that Michael Jackson is still alive." Unfortunately, it didn't say when or where it was taken. Some say he's in Canada now, others say he's in Africa. Let's not forget the time an Instagram photo taken by Paris, Michael's daughter, showed MJ sitting in the backseat of her car apparently. So it could be that the singer was very much alive. What do you think? Number 1, Marilyn Monroe. On August 5, 1962, Marilyn Monroe died from a barbiturates overdose, and the official version of her death is suicide. At the time of her death, she was suffering from mental disorders and was dependent on medicines. The post-mortem photos of the actress seem to be very suspicious to her fans. There are several theories, and the most popular one is that an unknown and chronically ill actress who looked like Marilyn was injected with a lethal dose of drugs and transferred to Marilyn's apartment. The real celebrity was stolen by Kennedy's people and sent secretly to Switzerland, where she was placed in a private and well-protected hotel. There she met Dr. Laub, and soon afterwards, she married him and settled in Switzerland. Do any of these conspiracy stories make sense? Let us know in the comment section down below.